Hello, I'm Tom Buffuto. I'm the Executive Director of the ARC of New Jersey, and I'm delighted to be here today talking about the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in New Jersey. It has been a trying time and a challenging time for everyone. In New Jersey, the ARC has 20 local chapters serving every county in New Jersey, uh, serving over 15,000 individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And certainly in March, we, like many others, were really caught off guard when this COVID-19 virus hit. But I will say to you, probably like other states, New Jersey rose to the occasion and faced many, many challenges. All right, so in the beginning, we were caught off guard. We didn't have the necessary PPE. We didn't have protocols in place. On one day, everything was operating as normal. The next day, everything shut down. Our number one concern, our number one priority was keeping folks safe. All day programs shut down, all respite programs shut down, everything shut down except our residential programs, our group homes, which needed to be staffed 24/7. And in light of everything going on, in light of all the reports in the media, we were deeply concerned about getting enough direct support professionals into the agencies, into the group homes to provide that 24/7 support. I will tell you this, our DSPs in New Jersey are true champions, because even before we had the necessary PPE in the early days, and thinking back, it was very difficult to get, our DSPs stepped up to the plate, provided all the supports and services our folks needed, even with people, coming down with the COVID virus. It was a very challenging time. After a couple of weeks, we got protocols in place. We put screening in place. We got the necessary PPE, which took us a couple of weeks to get there. And we armed our DSPs to go in to the group homes and provide all the services. So one side of things, our governor was telling everybody to stay home. On the other side, we were saying, hey, staff, we need you out here. But you look on the other side of things. These are folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities. How do we explain the sudden change in their daily routines? We know folks with intellectual disabilities function better when their daily routines are followed. And we had an abrupt halt to all of this. We had protocols in place, but it was very, very difficult. So for a time, we had to shut down all visits. Families couldn't go to group homes. Individuals in group homes couldn't leave. We were trying to explain why that was important. We were trying to explain the concepts of social distancing. We were trying to explain the use of masks and how to wear a mask properly to our folks. And while some of the individuals embraced it and were able to do it, many, we just couldn't get there. So our providers, our chapters had to step up, had to get creative. They started providing programs in the group homes, virtual programs, everything from yoga, cooking skills, gardening skills, a whole array of services, of new skills they were teaching group home residents. They were bringing in virtual programs. Our self-advocacy program had an array of virtual programs that people could dial into so that the residents of our group home weren't sitting around. They were actively engaged on a daily basis. Again, it was very difficult without their family members coming to visit them. But we were able to connect them through Zoom calls, through phone calls, any way possible. Our chapters stepped up to the plate to provide those services. And again, I will say it again, our DSPs are the true champions throughout this pandemic. We were able to catch up with the proper PPE. Testing in the beginning was very difficult to get. We were able to get the testing we were needed. And really, we were able to control the situation in our residents. And I'm very, very proud of the results that we got. As we know, slowly things moved along. Slowly, we allowed visits again outside the group home first for family members, and then the choice of outside or inside. We slowly were starting to open our day programs. And again, with the safety of individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities as the number one priority. We did all kinds of training for our DSPs to follow all the CDC guidelines. No one could come into a group home unless they were tested, wearing PPE, and all the guidelines from the CDC. Visits the same way. All the CDC guidelines had to be followed. Day programs, the same thing. Our day programs reopened at a much, much lower capacity. As a matter of fact, the top capacity would be 25%. Again, masks needed to be worn. Staff, we had to have all the sanitization equipment, everything that was needed. We were slowly able to do that. And again, I will tell you, the chapters of the ARC stepped up. All safety procedures were in place. Things were going along very nicely. Unfortunately, now we're in a second wave and we're scaling back again. And rightfully so. Our role is to keep people safe. It was felt that we needed to close down day programs again, scale back other programs, and really beef up what was going on in our group homes. I'm incredibly proud of the way that the staff followed all the protocols. I'm incredibly proud of the way they provided innovative services to our group home staff, group home consumers. And I will also tell you, I'm incredibly proud of the way the community stepped up. We had fire departments driving by group homes. We had community groups dropping off food. The community was just so engaged to help our group home residents. It was just incredible, the outpouring of support we got. So it was a very difficult time. I think we did an incredible job controlling the virus in our residential programs, and we're ready to do it again. We're concerned, though, this second wave looks almost worse than the first wave, and we have to be diligent. One of the things we're very concerned about is sort of this COVID fatigue, and people have had enough of it. We cannot for a second let our staffs let their guard down. We have to be at all times cognizant of all the CDC guidelines and making sure everyone is doing their part to control this virus in our chapters, in our group homes, and we're proud of the fact that they're staying on that. We are very, very anxious about the opportunity for vaccines coming out. And in fact, we believe that our folks, individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, need to be at the top of the priority list, along with our DSPs, along with our staff. We know research has showed if a person with intellectual and developmental disabilities gets the COVID virus, they're 3 times more likely to die from it than everybody else. We need to make sure that our folks are at the top of that priority list. We are already in the process actively engaging the governor's office, the Commissioner of Human Services, the Commissioner of Health, to make certain our folks, our DSPs, the staff that are serving people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are at the top of the priority list and get that vaccine when it's safe and when it is ready. We will remain diligent. We will make sure that people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are kept safe. But it is an ongoing struggle, but we're ready for the challenge. We'll continue to be at this until this pandemic is over.